without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Franz so that he can introduce us this really cool initiative, PushQuantum, that I'm also really interested about.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Ziki, for setting this whole event up and also for the invitation. I'm very, very happy to be here. And all right, and I'm very happy to tell you a bit about PushQuantum. So PushQuantum is a Munich-based non-profit organization led by students with the goal of providing hands-on education in quantum technologies to students from all disciplines. And we're also building a community of talented quantum enthusiasts. PushQuantum was created a little less than 2 years ago with 3 main goals in mind. The first one is community building. Like I said, we are bringing together talented students from all backgrounds, all disciplines, united by their passion for quantum science and technology. The second is hands-on education. We are offering a wide spectrum of educational content. The focus is on industry-focused education, entrepreneurial education, and we also try to kind of fill in the gaps that may exist in the offerings of the local universities. Of course, with TUM and LMU, we have 2 great universities in Munich, but we also try to bridge the gap that may exist between different study programs. So we really try to bring quantum technologies to everybody. And the third part is enabling careers. We try to connect students with employers from industry, academia, from the startup scene, and try to give them skills that they need to have successful careers in quantum. Here's kind of a breakdown of everything that PushQuantum offers. So you can see that our content is geared towards students, but students from all stages in their careers, bachelor, master, and even PhD and postdocs can participate in our events and have done so and benefited from our content in the past. The offerings that we have are broken down into 2 kind of categories. The first ones are for everybody, which are these white ones here, courses and outreach events. And then there's members offering specific to PushQuantum members. And I'll talk about what that means in just a bit. But you can see, yeah, outreach events, workshops, courses, internships. So we really try to offer a wide spectrum for everything. And really important is, of course, the community. So PushQuantum is by students for students. So we really also want people to get involved, want people who are passionate about these topics to come in and organize events. Since I'm not only here to talk about PushQuantum, but also about responsibility in quantum technologies, I want to highlight kind of what responsibility means for us. So if we hear the word responsibility, what do we think of? The first one is responsible community building. So when people apply for PushQuantum membership, we of course kind of take them into our fold, and we need to make sure that we do this in a responsible way. The first one, and perhaps the most obvious one, is that we try our very best not to discriminate against any sort of ethnicity, gender, origin. We have a panel or a board of people who accept people, so we try to mitigate individual bias. We don't require any sort of images. We don't actually even read the names of the people who apply before we accept them to make sure that we don't have any sort of bias. We just read their motivational, they have to provide a motivational letter for why they want to join the community. We actually don't even sometimes read the CVs, because PushQuantum is really about bringing people in that are motivated, that want to be involved in the community, that want to learn about quantum technologies. It's not required for you to be, you know, a quantum wizard and have a full background in it. It's really about wanting to learn more about it. The second is responsible content creation. Like I said, we offer a wide spectrum of educational content, and we need to make sure that this content is, first of all, of high quality, so that we don't teach students just, you know, garbage, basically. But we also need to make sure that, since we collaborate, for example, a lot with companies, that we are aware of intellectual property, that we are aware that that the students are not just, you know, work for these companies, but that the companies also work for the students, and that we just overall make sure that students are not taken advantage of in that way. And the third part is responsible outreach. We do a lot of outreach events. We try to communicate quantum technologies to students who aren't familiar with it, but also just general the masses. And we feel a strong responsibility to do this in a nice way, also in a responsible way, where we don't promise stuff that quantum can't actually fulfill in the future, that we try our best to mitigate overhyping quantum, that we do this in a reasonable way. So let me start with a bit more about community building. Like I said, we are taking students from all disciplines, and here you can see a breakdown of just how diverse PushQuantum is. This is a breakdown of all the different study programs that makes up PushQuantum members. So we have over 20 different backgrounds. These large chunks that you see here are nowadays quantum science and technology students, but also physics and computer science. But also electrical engineering is very common. But we have everybody. So we also have people from, for example, history, which I think is really, really cool that these people are interested in quantum. And here you can see, like I said, we are a little over 2 years old. So we started this actually during the pandemic. And this was the first PushQuantum online meetup. These days, luckily, we can meet in person, but we always forget to take pictures. So this is what it is. Now let me talk a bit about some of the courses that or some of the educational content that we offer. And PushQuantum's flagship project is the Quantum Entrepreneurship Laboratory. It's a fully credited master level course at the TUM that we organized together with our friends at the TUM Venture Lab Quantum. What we do essentially is we take students from 3 kind of backgrounds. The first one is quantum, then software and business. They apply for one of 3 roles: quantum specialist, software specialist, and business specialist. They form a team, and together they go from 0 to their fully fledged quantum software startup in 4 months. To do this, we have a great panel or great support from these industry partners. So they are the challenge partners. They are supposed to kind of act as the first customer of the startup team and guide them on their entrepreneurial journey, and to help the students actually get all the skills that they need, all the know-how that they need to succeed. We offer a lecture and workshop series as part of the QEL, where they both get kind of the know-how, but then also really the hands-on part, the skills that they need to work on this. And we've been doing this since 2020. I think it's been an amazing success. We have 4 installments now with 120 students, 10 different challenge partners, 11 prototypes that came out of the QEL. We have many different speakers, so over 50 different speakers and over 100 hours of educational content. Just to get you kind of an idea of what sort of projects the teams are working on, I want to highlight a few selected projects. And the first thing that you can see is that it's really very different. Each team comes up with their unique idea, and we're always really excited with what they come up. For example, here we have, supported by Merck, a group that worked on quantum natural language processing for drug-averse events. So you can also see that, of course, the company kind of gives the direction for the team to explore. Or, for example, we have E.ON, the team Rescue, which worked on improving the electrical grid resilience. So here you can see that really the origin of the company reflects the topic that is worked on. If you're interested, if you want to learn more, of course, you can talk to me, but you can also search Quantum Entrepreneurship Laboratory on YouTube, because the Quantum Entrepreneurship Lab culminates in a demo day, a pitch event, where the students pitch their idea to a panel of experts. And we always record it and upload it to YouTube. So if you're interested, you can check it out on YouTube. Yeah, this year again, we are doing the QEL. It's now the 4th time that we do this. It's the first time that we're doing it in person, so we were really excited about this. It's been a long time goal of us. We used this opportunity of doing it in person to scale up the QEL. In the past, we had 20 students every year. Now we have 30. And 6 teams. This year we have Volkswagen, Airbus Secure Communications, Infineon, Knuspre, and Merck as challenge partners. And like I said, we really do our best to offer high level educational content. So here you can see just a small breakdown of some of the companies and organizations that are involved in the QEL, either as speakers or as giving workshops. So we really do our best to make this a high level course that really pushes the students and goes beyond what normal university course might be able to do. Moving on to some other stuff that we do. One project that I particularly was very excited about this year is the Qiskit Bootcamp. Like I said, one of our goals is also to fill in the gaps that may exist in the university curriculum. And personally, I always thought that we were lacking a quantum programming language course. And since Qiskit is one of the most popular ones, it was a natural candidate. So we teamed up with IBM Quantum to organize a bootcamp on Qiskit. It was a 5-module course that with the goal of preparing students to take the Qiskit developer certification exam. This was also the kind of the starting point for us to branch beyond Munich. So far we've been really operating in Munich, kind of local and grassroots, but now we would like to also work with everybody. And here we have the ETH Zurich and the EPFL who were also able to join this event. And we are very happy that it was very popular. We have over 200 signups. Every participant received a voucher for the Qiskit developer certification exam, which is usually $200 US. So we're also really happy that IBM very graciously provided these vouchers. And students have until December 16th to use the vouchers and pass the exam. So I'm very curious how many people will actually pass the exam. I actually did it myself, so it's always nice if you organize something that you can also benefit from yourself. Yeah, and then just some more stuff. So you get kind of a glimpse. We also organized Munich's first quantum hackathon, again in collaboration with Qiskit. The folks at IBM, Fabio and so on, are really great at outreach, are really great at open source stuff and getting everybody involved. So we were really happy to be part of hosting Munich's first quantum hackathon. We also had a series called Leadership in Quantum, where we had these amazing guests from industry and academia, kind of give a glimpse into how they ended up in this position and gave career advice to young students who also wanted to learn how to become a leader in quantum. Yeah, so I already talked about the responsibility that we see in these courses, and like I said, with all of these events, we always need to make sure that the level is high, that the content is good, and that we are responsible in what we offer the students. But like I said, we also do a lot of outreach, and we do our best to spread quantum to interested students from other backgrounds or the masses in general. So, for example, we present at events like this. So again, thanks a lot, Sticky, for the invitation. But we also, one event that I really enjoyed is we had this exhibition at Deutsches Museum, which was part of PushQuantum's Climate group, which I will talk about in just a second. We also had this weekly news series that we posted on social media, kind of recapping everything that happened in the past week in quantum, both with a focus on local stuff. So, for example, this quantum logic gate was a publication of the Max Planck Institute of Quantum Optics. BMW Group also has a subsidiary in Munich where they do a lot of quantum stuff. And in fact, the Deloitte Quantum Climate Challenge pitch event was won by PushQuantum members, basically. So we're also really thrilled about that, and students from Munich. So PushQuantum members and students from Munich. So I already mentioned that this exhibition was done by members of PushQuantum Climate. So what is PushQuantum Climate? PushQuantum Climate is a group within PushQuantum of students who are passionate about seeing how we can maybe tackle climate change with quantum technologies, but even more so also how we can make sure that quantum technologies are a carbon neutral endeavor or have a net benefit with respect to classical computation or classical technologies. So we are always focused about the computational advantage that quantum computing can bring, but we can also look at the energy advantage that quantum computing can bring. For example, quantum computers can be way more cost efficient than normal superconductors, normal supercomputers. So this is also something that we should really have on the radar, something that we should look into and develop more. So it's about minimizing energy costs, making sure that quantum computers have an energy advantage. Again, always the outreach, communicating about quantum, communicating about the opportunities that we have, and then also really seeing if there are any applications that we can explore in this area. And I would also like to highlight the work done on the quantum energy initiative by Professor Ofes, who are also looking into this topic, and we really think that it's an important issue and something that we should look into. Yeah, and this is kind of an overview of all that we do, about the courses that we do, the outreach that we do, the community that we are building, and what it means for us to be responsible at PushQuantum. If you want to learn more, you can check out our website. You can send us an email. You can also, of course, talk to me if you're here, or find us on LinkedIn, you know, the good stuff. Yeah, thanks.
And we have around 6 minutes, so I think for questions, both from our online and on-site participants. But I would like to prioritize this time our on-site participants. So, but you should also come a little closer so that people can hear.
You can also repeat any questions if that's then nobody else. Yeah.
Thank you, Franz,
Yeah.
for the presentation.
Yeah.
It looks great. And
Thanks.
I saw a suggestion.
Sure.
For the Quantum Entrepreneurship Lab.
Yeah.
I saw the ad.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's a swimsuit.
Yeah.
Just for context, I'm a master's swimsuit.
Mhm.
And however, I'm a student of politics and technology.
Mhm.
I'm a policy
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And I was wondering about, it would be great if there a place for policy people or for people who deal with ethics or social impacts of technology.
Yeah.
Within the teams. So I was wondering, have you considered including these people in the program? If yes, what has informed your decision to maybe not go for it at the moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good question. So the kind of roles that I talked about, business, software, and quantum, are more kind of guidelines and more reflect the type of work that you do. It's not required for you to have a background in business to be a business specialist. For example, we have a person who is studying medicine, who is a business specialist in the QEL. So therefore, even if you are politics and technology, you can apply for any of these 3 roles, and if you make your case well, then you can also be accepted. We don't filter out by any sort of background. On the types of topics that you would work in the QEL, it is streamlined, so that it's very challenging to actually come up with like a startup idea in 4 months and also have a prototype in that time. So looking into the ethics and the policies behind these kind of things would maybe then be something for the continued journey of the startup, not for the initial phase, I would say. But so for the QEL, looking into the policies or the governance of these topics, I think might not be the right scope. However, in PushQuantum in general, or in the community, this is very, very, very much something that we would love to have more in PushQuantum. So also with the climate group, they're very interested in the ethics of quantum technologies, and we always try to encourage people who come in with some sort of project idea to continue it and to drive it. So I think this is one of the things that PushQuantum is really, really good at, is having people that are passionate about something that doesn't exist yet and helping them create it. So for example, the QEL was actually created because our founders wanted to found a quantum startup and they didn't know how to do it. So they created a course because they wanted to learn, and I wanted to take the Qiskit developer exam, but I didn't want to pay $200 US. So I asked the IBM people if we can do it. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, talk to me, and then we can create a new series, for example, even. We don't need to, you know, content ourselves with being part of another thing. We can do our own thing and make it bigger. I think there's a question in the chat, right?
Thank you. And also, one thing that, you know, that they can hear. Also,
oh, yeah.
Previous project.
Yeah, okay.
And Oksana has a question on, yeah, you can also read it.
Yes. So very good question. I can highlight some stories. So I think one of the first ones is, or a nice one to start with, is of one of our founders. So Tom Hubriksen is, like I said, one of the people who wanted to found a quantum startup but didn't know how to do it. So he was at Google X for some time now, so working on quantum AI. But he is indeed now founding his own quantum startup, and I can't tell too much about it because they are still in the stealth mode. But I'm really excited about what they will bring. I think Tom is a hugely talented guy, so I'm really excited about which startup or what a startup will be bringing to the table. Like I said, we also try to connect students with employers from industry. For example, Oksana, I know that you know Emily quite well. Emily, who is leading the the climate group, is now working for Quantinuum, and she met Hendrik, I think at the big quantum hackathon in Paris, which she went to through PushQuantum. Also, we have several alumni, for example, working now on in Munich Quantum Instruments, a startup in the Munich space. We have Youssef, who is now doing his PhD at BMW. He also met Elvira through PushQuantum, or got in contact with them through PushQuantum. We have people that have gotten internships at IQM through PushQuantum, so we really try to kind of facilitate that. Yes?
A bit more about with law students,
yes.
Where they end up.
Yeah, so the question was if I have any experience with law students and where they end up and how they engage. It is quite funny because law students are the one group that we desperately would like to have, but don't have so much yet. So we were really the only thing that we had was a short collaboration with a initiative in Munich working on legal tech, but then we realized that there's not so much overlap or that the technology is just not ready yet. But we would like, so I can't really talk about law students and where they end up, because I think we had one person, but they didn't get hugely involved. But we would like for law students to get more involved also, because we are now a legal entity, and I think it would be cool for them also to kind of work on the legal part of PushQuantum. So if you know any who might be interested, tell them to reach out to me. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's a huge also kind of area of the governance of quantum computing. I think we need to make sure also that quantum computers are used for the right kinds of things, and that they're policed in the right way, because they can also do a lot of harm. So. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also a matter of kind of getting a foothold in the student communities. It's always scales very exponentially. So first you need to get a few people involved, and then once you have somebody that can also then easily reach their own target audience. For example, we can reach quantum science and technology students very, very nicely because we are a lot of quantum science and technology students. So once we get a few law students involved, which will be the hard part, getting more involved, I think will be much easier. Any more questions?
Questions?
There's another question. Do you have members from, yes. So the question is, do you have members from other countries than Germany? We do. The thing is that there are different kind of stages, or I would say stages is maybe the right word, but different kinds of members. So you can be a PushQuantum member and just, you know, be in our virtual community space, see what we post, I don't know, take part in the discussions that happen there, join our online events. But you can also be a member who goes to every event, is involved in organizing things yourself, really is participating and part of the core team. And there is a large difference between that. So also, if you, at some point, you can see, you can see that we have, here I have, we have 200 members in alumni. So this is by no means the active member count or the people who are involved day to day. And in these 200 members, of course, we also have students from outside Europe and also outside Germany, also Europe, outside Europe. But they can only benefit to some extent from PushQuantum because we try to do we currently are doing most of our stuff in Munich, and we try to do most of our stuff in person. And if you're not in Europe, it's hard to attend an event in person in Munich. Thanks.